guys, it's Carol, and this is the second video in our Let's Talk About Autism series. The first thing that I want to talk about is sensory input. And sensory input is anything that's coming at you at your senses. So we can break that down into our different 5 senses. So we can talk first about auditory input. So auditory input is going to be anything that you hear that causes you to react in some way. So the purpose of the headphones is just to kind of illustrate that. In our family, one of the ways that we deal with overwhelming auditory stressors or triggers is by putting on a pair of headphones. So you'd see my brother, who is 20 and he has severe autism. You would see him out, and about at the grocery store when he's little, wearing headphones, or at church, in service wearing headphones, and people will ask us, oh, what's he listening to? But he's not listening to anything. He's using them to try to block out a little bit of the input that's coming at him. So when you're in the grocery store, you've got obviously people talking, grocery carts are making noises, you've got maybe an announcement comes over the speakers, you've got music playing, but you've also got things that most of us don't process, or we do process. We process it, and our brain files it away or dismisses it as irrelevant information, and it says we don't need to focus on that. An example of that would be the lights in a grocery store. The fluorescent lighting is making a noise, it's humming, it's making sound that you probably don't really notice, but your autistic friend or family member may, and they may be aware of that. Even if they aren't sure where that's coming from, they may be their brain is trying to deal with that input and saying, okay, should we focus on this? Is this important? Should we pay attention? Maybe this is important. Maybe we should pay attention to that. Let's pay attention to that. Oh, also that grocery cart's making noise and somebody's talking and somebody's crying. There's a baby 5 aisles over and I can hear them. And mom's talking to the sibling, and then the grocery clerk wants to help us and they're talking to us, and now they're asking us why we're wearing headphones, and all of this is happening all at once. And then you layer in visual triggers, which we'll talk about in a different video, maybe being able to smell things that are weird, and all of that's coming in at once. And then also tactile, so maybe your shirt that you're wearing today is bothering you. So everything layers in and becomes this very overwhelming experience. Just going out into the world. So you'll notice somebody who has autism and people who are with them who are trying to help them deal with it, maybe giving them things that can help them to deal with all of this input that's coming at you that you can't process because your brain is saying, okay, I don't know what to do with all of this stimuli. I don't know where to put it. I don't know how to say, well, that's irrelevant. That sound that the fluorescent lights are making, that's irrelevant. I don't need to know that. And that conversation that couple is having over there, that's irrelevant. I don't need to pay attention to that. I need to pay attention to the things that I want to pay attention to. And the autistic brain often can't make those decisions on its own. So you would see things like wearing of headphones, wearing of a weighted vest, or some other type of thing that you can wear on your body that gives compression or weight, in order to give you something to focus on, or a sense of grounding down to the earth. And that's a way of trying to deal with that. What's coming in at me that I can't process, it's a way of trying to help me deal with that. So, at the dinner table even, he'll put his headphones on because everybody's eating, and we're clinking plates and we're trying to have a conversation, or there's water running to clean up the dishes. If the TV's on, it's very low, maybe even almost muted with the captions on, just so that it's there, but we don't want it to be yet another auditory stimuli that's coming in. So, you'll see the use of the headphones. Speaking personally, I have the inability to dismiss the sounds of people eating. So that's something that my brain wants to focus on, and it wants to pay attention to that, and it's terrible. It's not annoying, it's not a pet peeve, it's absolutely painful. The sounds of people eating, any kind of eating at all, crunching, slurping, chewing, any kind of sound that's related to eating, gulping, drinking, is something that my brain says, let's pay attention to that, and it's terrible, and I hate it. So, you'll find, and my family has adapted all of my family members know that Carol can't sit in a quiet room and listen to people eat. She'll go crazy. So we listen to music, or, I may have my phone right next to me with Pandora going. I may have my own headphones on. It's just, we adapt. And I'm grateful for the people that love me, that help me to make those adaptations. So that was one thing I wanted to just briefly talk about. Is those auditory triggers, and how, what the issue is that your brain, the neurotypical brain, can decide on its own, what are we going to pay attention to? What are we going to filter out? The autistic brain wants to pay attention to everything, and wants to pay attention to the things that are the least relevant to what's really going on right now. And so that's where we have to try to step in and say, okay, how can we make it less stimulating? Can we dismiss some of this for him so that it's not, right there in front of his face? And if we can't, can we cover it up somehow? And that's just one sense. Hearing is one sense. So then we can talk about, visual triggers and tactile and all that other stuff in another video, and kind of layer everything and explain how it all comes in at once. But I wanted to just kind of address that to begin with. Again, we're talking about autism. It's so big, it's so huge, and everybody who deals with autism deals with it in a different way, because every person is different. So it's a big topic. It's hard to figure out where to begin, so I decided we'll just start with auditory triggers. That's one of the major things that we deal with in my family on, a minute-to-minute basis, definitely daily. So thanks for listening. We'll be back with more triggers and more autism topics very soon.